Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. This is Muhammad Badruddin back again with another video from Prototype Pollution Vulnerability module. This is going to be the lab number 3, and in today's lab we are going to see DOM XSS via alternative prototype pollution vector. So in this lab we will just improvise and we will see something new, a bit different from the earlier labs or the previous labs. So the description of this lab is saying this lab is vulnerable to DOM XSS via client-side prototype pollution, and to solve the lab we have to first of all find out the source to where you can add the arbitrary property to the global object, which is Object.prototype. The second part where we have to identify the gadget property that allows you to execute arbitrary JavaScript, and then we need to combine source and gadget, and we have to combine these to call the alert function. Okay, so you can solve this lab manually in your browser or you can use the DOM invader. So in both of the previous videos I already used the DOM invader. In this video also we will use the DOM invader and we will also solve this lab manually. So let's go and access the lab. Here actually the first thing what I will do is I will use or solve the lab by using DOM invader. So let's see, go to the proxy settings, and here in the browser I'm gonna allow it, and that's it. Close that, open browser. Okay, fine. Now I'm just going to copy this URL for my lab and gonna paste it here. Okay, so let's see here. First of all, I'm going to just open the dev tools and then going to the DOM invader and just refresh the page to find out the sources. And as you can see, it found one source, okay, which is __proto__ and dot property is equal to value. This is the first one. So let's go and scan for the gadget. So if we scan for the gadget, so scanning is completed, and DOM invader found one sink via prototype pollution. So let's see, if I open the inspect section again, open the dev tools, go to the DOM invader, you can see there is one sink it found, and the sink is eval. This is the dangerous function. Fine. And it also find out this eval in this particular script. Okay, so if you want to see it more clearly, you can see that. Okay, we will see from where it brings this script. We will see that in a minute, but we will go first of all to exploit it. And as you can see, __proto__ dot sequence is equal to alert1. But if you point out here, the alert does not pop up here. Why so? That we need to check out. So I'm going back here and go to the network tab and just refresh the page one more time. So you can see there is JavaScript search logger alternate.js. Open it, and in the response we find something similar functions that we found in the previous lab, which is async function search logger, but this time the script is a bit different. Okay, and in the line number 18 you can see there is eval function, and within the eval function it's checking if manager and manager.sequence, where manager.macro, manager.sequence. So basically manager is the object and sequence is the property of the manager. Okay, so here what basically going on, if I try to show you, __proto__ dot sequence is equal to alert, and I would say 1. Okay, and just hit enter here, go to the console, and in console you will see uncaught in promise, syntax error, missing after argument list at eval, and on line number within this script search logger alternative JS at the line number 18. Okay, so if you go to the line number 18, you can see this is the line where it breaks, and I will set here to break, and then I will again refresh the page, and once I refresh the page, you can see whatever I put here, alert 1, it actually shown up here, which is saying A is equal to alert 1. And if I just hover my cursor on manager.sequence, you can see it's showing here sequence alert 1, and after alert 1 it's putting 1 value. Okay, because what basically it's doing here in the script, it's saying it's checking whether manager.sequence is there or not. If not, then A is the default value. Okay, but what happened if we already poison or pollute the sequence property before coming to this check point? Okay, so that's what we are actually doing, and you can see when we hover the cursor, it's saying alert 1, and this 1 is already there. So because of this 1, the script or the alert function is not popped up. Let's see, in the source, I'm just going to unbreak on the line number 18 and just unpause the debugger. It's okay. Now we need to actually solve the syntax error. So for that purpose, we can just comment or terminate the line by putting the semicolon, enter, and still it's not showing a alert. Let's try a few more things. Nothing. Let's try something else, which is this. Nope. Let's see. And yes, you can see the alert is popped up now. So that is the thing. So I just want you to see what's going on here. I'm again going to set the breakpoint on this particular line, and I'm going to enter again. So once we enter, you can see it's showing here A is equal to alert 1 and dash, and if I hover my cursor on the manager, you can see this time the sequence property is set to alert 1, and then after this -1. Okay, so it will actually execute the alert function which pop up the alert. So that's it for the DOM invader, and now we will do something manually, and this is approximately the same what we did up to now in the DOM invader. So we have idea now where to look at. So if I go to the inspect section here in this page, and in the network tab, if I just refresh the page again, so network tab will load all the things, all the scripts, CSS and JavaScripts. So let's see, you can see here search logger alternative.js, and you can see the response here, which is the script. So the second part of the script is important for me, and if you see here, this is basically creating a global object called macros that will store macro functions or values later. Basically this part is interesting for me, and this is also risky. Why? Because this is where the params, this params field is set to the result of .parse params, okay, which takes the URL and turn the query string into the JavaScript object. $.parse params does not sanitize. If this does not sanitize __ proto constructor or prototype keys, that means an attacker can poison the JavaScript object property, because the application will not sanitize these kind of inputs. So this is where the problem exists, and this is how we will get into the parameter pollution vulnerability, because here you can see in the next line, which is saying let a is equal to manager dot sequence, and saying with two pipes saying 1. So this basically now the code checks if the manager dot sequence is there or not. If it exists, it uses the value of it, otherwise the default value is set to the 1. Okay, but if the prototype has already been polluted with a sequence value, this line uses the attacker's value. So somehow before coming to that checkpoint, if I already poison this sequence property, then that's it, because when it comes to that checkpoint, it already has something and it will not take the default value 1. Now the things come to the more problematic when it comes to this line, which is eval, run any JavaScript code within the eval. So if manager.sequence here, if manager.sequence was set via prototype pollution to malicious payload, for example, something that closes the parenthesis and runs arbitrary code, the attacker gets remote code execution inside this page. Fine. So with prototype pollution, we can inject the sequence as we did it when we try to solve the lab from the DOM invader. Okay. And here basically, if there is a search parameter, the function logs it. This part itself is not directly vulnerable or dangerous, but it comes from the manager.param from the untrusted URL input. Okay, and finally the function runs automatically when the page loads, meaning any malicious query string will trigger the attack without any user interaction or user intervention. And this is where eval is basically the sink, because whatever you put as the sequence property, once you pollute the sequence property, this is the part where the malicious code will be executed within the eval. Okay, so that's why if you go to the DOM invader, you will find eval as the sink. That's it. Now we are just going to test few things and finish it. So I'm going to console quickly slash question mark underscore underscore proto underscore underscore, and let's see, I will do it as the previous labs. So within the large bracket, I'm gonna say anything, any property color, let's say, is equal to red. Hit enter, and in the console I'm gonna say Object.prototype. Hit enter, and if you see the object, you will not find this property what you try to inject. Okay, that means this is not working correctly. So what we can try few other ways, which is going to be proto.color is equal to red. Let's hit enter, and again I'm gonna just try Object.prototype, and this time you can see it's very clear that the property is already injected within the object. Okay, so that is the source. Now you have to find the gadget, which we already saw here as search logger alternative.js, and the gadget we found, this is gonna be our gadget. Okay, so we just need to see here the property, put here the property. The property we found is sequence, which is this one. Okay, this is the property, and as the property I want to put the value of the property is alert 1. But what happened once we hit enter, okay, and go to the console, what you see here is the syntax error, and the syntax error exists on the line number 18 of the search logger alternative.js file. So once you click on it, you will see this here, So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to show you this. I set the breakpoint on this particular line and just refresh the page or hit enter again, so that once the page will be loaded and this script will be executed, it will come and just stop execution up to this line. And you can see whatever property value you set here as alert1 is already setting the value a is equal to alert1. Now because if you just hover the cursor on manager, you will find the same thing, sequence is equal to alert1 and then 1. So what we are going to do here is we need to somehow break this point and we need to fix the syntax error, and for that purpose what we will do in the DOM invader, as I mentioned, this minus worked. Okay, so just set it and hit enter. Okay, because the breakpoint is set, so that's why it is stopped. I'm gonna uncheck it and just try it one more time, and you can see the alert is popped up and the lab is solved. So that's it for this lab. In the next video we will solve another lab, and if you like the content, like, subscribe and share. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.